Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going on a bit of a diagnostic hunt. If you manage a virtualized environment, you know the pain. You've likely faced the absolute frustration of tracking down these ghost performance issues. So today, we're putting on our detective hats to uncover exactly why storage bottlenecks are silently hindering your virtual machines, and, more importantly, what you can do to stop them. Because, look, we've all been there, right? The help desk tickets are just piling up. Users are complaining that their applications are barely crawling along, and you're sitting there staring at your monitoring dashboards, trying to figure out why your VMs are suddenly acting so sluggish. You check the usual suspects, but everything looks totally fine on the surface. So what is really going on? Well, here's the twist. More often than not, it's actually not your CPU or your memory. While those are, incredibly easy to observe and track, the real culprit is usually hiding deep within the storage layer. We're talking about disk latency, throughput, and IOPS, I/O operations per second. These are the hidden bottlenecks that silently choke VM performance. Virtualization adds this massive layer of abstraction, which makes finding these bottlenecks incredibly tricky if you aren't looking in the exact right place. To solve this mystery, we've got a clear roadmap. 1. The hidden storage culprit. 2. The I/O blender effect. 3. Traps of VM consolidation. 4. Diagnosing with vital signs. And 5. Finding and fixing bottlenecks. Okay, let's jump right into section 1. The hidden storage culprits. The root of the issue. So it's a classic mistake to confuse the symptom with the cause. Poor performance in the virtual machine, that's just a symptom. The VM is basically the victim here of external configurations. Because virtualization abstracts the hardware, admins frequently point the finger at the VM or the application itself. But in reality, the storage array, the LUN or the volume being presented to the host, either doesn't have enough spindles backing it, or maybe it's configured with the wrong RAID level for that specific workload. And this leads to a terrifying scenario, the domino effect. Picture this. Let's say one virtual machine isn't able to get the appropriate amount of physical memory. What does it do? It starts swapping to disk. Suddenly, this single VM is generating massive amounts of IOPS to the storage array. And because multiple VMs share that exact same data store, this one resource-starved VM hogs the CPU, the disk, and the memory resources, completely starving its neighboring VMs. Literally, one misconfigured machine can essentially take down the whole block. Moving on to section 2, the I/O blender effect, chaotic data streams. Back in the day, with traditional physical server setups, you generally had a one-to-one mapping between a server and a disk LUN. The data streams were super predictable. But virtualization inherently changes the rules of storage I/O. When you take 50 VMs and place them all on a single storage LUN, their combined simultaneous read and write requests just get completely scrambled together. There's this highly memorable term for it, the I/O blender effect. And it perfectly describes how highly predictable I/O gets chopped up into chaotic, random I/O that completely chokes your storage controllers. Let's look at a concrete example of this chaos in action, something called the boot storm. If you're running VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure, imagine what happens at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Hundreds, maybe thousands of users sit down and boot up their virtual PCs at the exact same time. The simultaneous I/O demand is astronomical. This massive spike requires a tremendous amount of I/O bandwidth, and if your storage isn't prepared for the blender effect of a boot storm, the entire company's productivity just grinds to a halt. There's a great quote from Bob Lababert at the Enterprise Strategy Group that really emphasizes the shift we're dealing with here. He points out that we used to have these heavily siloed domains, and now all of a sudden everything is collapsing. The abstraction layer of virtualization collapsed those old safe silos. It created entirely new operational headaches for administrators because, well, the old assumptions just don't apply anymore when you're managing highly dynamic shared storage resources. Which brings us to section 3, traps of VM consolidation, architectural pitfalls. Look, it's incredibly tempting to cram multiple virtual machines onto a single virtual machine disk, or VMDK, right? It seems so convenient. But doing so forces all your I/O through a shared logical volume, which results in 3 cascading failures. First up, performance throttling. When the storage subsystem reaches its queue depth limit during peak demands, everything slows down. Second, limited path usage. Storage arrays offer multiple paths for redundancy, but cramming VMs onto a single VMDK restricts these paths, absolutely killing your throughput. And third, IOPS constraints. Overloading that single VMDK quickly saturates its IOPS capacity, which skyrockets your latency. All right, section 4, diagnosing with vital signs. finding the bottlenecks. Think of this latency breakdown as your crucial diagnostic toolkit. For RAID latency, you really want to see response times under 5 milliseconds. Anything creeping over 20 milliseconds is a critical red flag. Now, write operations take slightly longer, but the principle is exactly the same. And remember, if you're using flash-based arrays, your baseline expectations should be even stricter. We're usually talking under 1 to 2 milliseconds. Now, let's talk IOPS. You simply cannot treat all VMs equally because their workloads vary wildly. I mean, an idle VM or a basic OS boot might only generate 0 to 50 IOPS, but a heavy database server, that can demand anywhere from 2,000 to over 50,000 IOPS. If you place a heavy database VM on the same host or data store as a bunch of other high IO VMs without considering their combined footprint, you are practically guaranteeing an instant resource bottleneck. And this brilliantly illustrates the power of modern tools. When you use a virtualization-aware storage system, you don't have to guess anymore. These modern arrays have end-to-end knowledge of the virtual infrastructure. You can pinpoint exactly which individual virtual machine is experiencing high latency, right down to the millisecond. Having this kind of visibility is an absolute game changer for virtualization admins. Finally, Section 5, Finding and Fixing Bottlenecks. Administer the cure. Okay, we have to start by calling out the single most common provisioning mistake administrators make. When creating a new virtual machine, it is a fatal error to sort your available data stores by free space and just plunk the VM where there's the most room. Free space tells you absolutely nothing about performance. You must sort your data stores by their I/O capabilities, whether that's SATA, SAS, or SSD, and use that as your primary guide for placement. So here are the actionable steps to properly tune your environment. Step 1. Analyze your workload I/O. Know for sure if you're deploying a lightweight web server or a massive database. Step 2. Sort your data stores by their I/O capabilities, not their capacity. And Step 3. Distribute your VMs across multiple VMDKs. This allows for targeted volume tuning, giving you optimal path usage and preventing your IOPS from saturating a single queue. But, sometimes optimizing just isn't enough. When you've completely outgrown your infrastructure and all else fails, the ultimate cure is throwing the raw I/O bandwidth of an all-flash array at the problem. Purchasing a new storage system designed specifically for virtualization gives you consistent, predictable performance. Plus, it easily swallows those massive VDI bootstorms without even breaking a sweat. Finally, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. The biggest driver of storage growth isn't primary data, it's secondary data. We're talking snapshots, mirrors, replication. In fact, the secondary data multiplier can be as high as 15 to 1. So I have to ask you, is your storage performance being silently crushed by the weight of secondary data copies? It's highly possible that your backup and snapshot policies are inadvertently causing your next I/O bottleneck by consuming all your array's resources. Take a close look at your environment today, apply these diagnostic steps, and reclaim the performance your virtual machines desperately need. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy hunting.